Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about RBC, their wealth management platform, and how I assisted throughout my time over the past 4 months. So what exactly is wealth management? Well, you might think you're managing assets, you're managing investments, and that's the kind of key area that I assisted in. I was really a part of their quantitative investment section of the company. They have alternatives, they have fundamentals, and the last one is where my group was actually trying to explore and assist using quantitative signals to bridge the gap into the fundamental space. So how exactly did we do that? We wanted to help identify scuds or underperforming assets and see if our signals in our own portfolio were avoiding those kinds of underperforming assets and whether or not we could assist the fundamental team in also avoiding them. They had been underperforming, and the quantitative space had been performing very well. So we asked, do scuds actually drag on performance? And the answer originally was actually no, which was kind of surprising. You'd often see that whenever we had gone long of very underperforming or short and underperforming, they would often match out and would net to approximately 0% return. So what we had to do was we had to reframe the question. What were we really asking? And what we were really asking was, are we using our scores in an appropriate manner? So now we have to analyze and look at, do our factor scores predict whether or not assets tend to underperform? And so how do we do that? What we're doing is we're looking at stuff like hit rates, we're looking at persistence of scores, and we're looking at how our signals will perform in a fundamental manner. Because they're very high conviction, persistence was especially important given they want to be able to make an investment and sit in it with conviction for a longer period of time. Overall, we ended up finding that, hey, we can use our quant signals as a kind of helpful overlay to guide a fundamental manager's process and kind of screen out what would be considered statistically underperforming assets. So to recap, what we were looking at was whether or not scuds occurred. They did not. They weren't affecting the portfolio. It wasn't really an actionable metric. It was very much forward-looking. How are you supposed to predict a relative 10% underperformance? Factor score quantiles were performing as expected, and the scores were predictive and persistent. Thank you. My name's been Matthew, and I bid you adieu.